Hey, this is Craig Durr with the Futurum Group. I'm here with Jennifer Moss, renowned author, Harvard Business Review columnist. Read 2 books, right? Unlocking Happiness in the Office, and the most recent one is The Burnout Epidemic, right?
That's right. Unlocking Happiness at Work and The Burnout Epidemic. And then the next one coming up is Together We Go.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited.
That's good. Hey, I had a chance to do some research behind what you've written in the past, and currently you were well positioned to talk about this idea of burnout. Tell me what you saw taking place in the last couple of years around burnout. And you had some interesting insights about who is responsible to help solving that problem.
I love that you asked that. There's been so much that has happened. It's kind of a joke, I was saying, let's talk about burnout, please listen to me. I'm writing lots of books and articles about this, but it was sort of a nice to have conversation at work, even happiness. No one was really talking about that. Right. But what happened was the pandemic, and it really did highlight that this was a growing problem, and then it exploded in the pandemic. And we're still seeing really high levels of burnout still, because there is a hangover, and we have not had time to just rest and recover and heal. It's business as usual, it always has been. And so when I think of what we need to be thinking about now, it's understanding that there is a shift in the way we need to think about rest and consider it as productive rest.
And you had a key point there, actually, when I was reading through the book. It's not the individual responsibility, that the business actually has a key responsibility, key stakeholder in what's taking place here.
I loved in 2019, and this was pre-pandemic, where the World Health Organization identified burnout as occupational stress left unmanaged, institutional stress. And they actually made a point to say it is not in the life condition, which is sort of interesting now in the pandemic, where we have this, as you call it, this work-life, kind of balance blending, right? And work-life blending. So it's hard to determine what is work, what is life right now. However, they wanted to make a point to say it's about societal and institutional burdens, and employers need to recognize their accountability, that those 6 root causes of burnout are, systemic. It's about policy, it's about overwork, it's about, discriminatory behavior. All of those things you cannot solve with self-care alone. It's coming together. Which is how we've been treating burnout for a long time.
Right. So we are here at a conference, OC Tanner. I came in as like a babe in the woods. And what I had the question on my mind was, what is culture? And I know that's a big, broad question, but let me give you some context. If I'm talking to IT professionals, IT executives, and they're dealing right now, first they had the challenge of hybrid work, and now they're dealing with return to the office and trying to get people back engaged. And they're like, I'm buying the equipment, I am remodeling the space, I'm putting the best technology in place, but I'm not getting people working together like they did before.
Having people be in the office, it has to be viewed differently. We can't just look at, taking school and putting it online. You have a different way of thinking about it. When you put something online, you are changing the dynamics of that. And that's the same way that we have to think now as a behavioral scientist, coming back into the office. Something shifted. So how do we make work like the third place? How do we make it a place where it's comfortable and we can connect and be with each other, where technology plays a role in that relationship, but right now we're sort of defined by technology as being the only relationship that we have with other people and the only way of connecting. So I think for IT executives is figuring out what that special space is between using technology to bridge relationships and amplify relationships versus replace relationships.
That is great. I love that. Amplify instead of replace. That's a great one. If you, in your wisdom, in the research that you've done, the information that you've collected, had some advice for IT executives, and in the context of, look, it's not just about devices, it's not about remodeling spaces, it's about creating and fostering human connection, what would you share with them? And what kind of advice would you give back?
I think there's a lot of change fatigue. There's also a lot of when we pivoted, people had to relearn so many skills, and technology for a lot of organizations was clunky and cumbersome. No one was readied.
Right.
There was a whole amount of resilience that people had to have to adopting a new way of working with technology that wasn't really working in this new environment. And so it's about understanding that fatigue, and maybe it's about making sure that people really know what they're doing, enrolling them before you're rolling out the technology, key influencers and people that really know, how to communicate it as an influencer to the rest of their team about what this product is, why it's necessary, how to use it, have enablement ambassadors, so that it doesn't feel like no one was involved in the decision.
Well, I appreciate the time, Jennifer.
Thank you.
This is great.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you and I are both these data geeks looking at this information and coming up with some similar conclusions about it.
Yeah, a fellow data geek to another. I love that. Yes.
That's perfect. Everyone, thank you so much for your time.
you.
Stay on this social channel. We'll have some more information shortly. Take care.